Imagine a university so advanced that students travel thousands of kilometers just to study there. This wasn't a myth. This was Nalanda University in the year 1193, a place with libraries holding millions of manuscripts where astronomy, mathematics, medicine, philosophy, grammar, politics, and spirituality were taught together. Now imagine that entire knowledge system burned to ashes, not for one day, not for 1 week, but for months. And with it, an entire civilization slowly lost its intellectual backbone. This is the forgotten story of how one of the world's greatest learning traditions was destroyed. But the question is, how did a civilization that pioneered the world's first residential universities end up with an education system it barely recognizes today? How did India, once called the land of knowledge, become disconnected from its own ancient education system? To understand how it was destroyed, we first have to understand what the system actually looked like. Long before Oxford or Harvard were even ideas, India had Takshashila and Nalanda. Ancient universities like Nalanda, Takshashila, and Vikramshila hosted over 10,000 students from China, Korea, Tibet, Persia, Japan, Southeast Asia, and Greece. And admission required passing a brutal exam at the university gates. These were not just religious schools. The curriculum integrated Vigyan, science, Ganit, mathematics, Shalya Chikitsa, surgery, pioneered by Sushrut, Khagol Shastra, astronomy, arts, economics, martial arts, architecture, philosophy, and logic. Education was deeply connected with life itself. The foundational level was the Gurukul system, which focused not only on information but on discipline, ethics, self-control, and wisdom. Students didn't memorize answers just to pass an exam. They lived with their teachers, learning life skills, logic, and critical thinking. Teachers were respected not because of money, but because they shaped civilization. India gave the world concepts like zero, advanced metallurgy, sophisticated surgery, and astronomical calculations. And knowledge flowed from India to many parts of Asia. But then, everything began to change. But how did this massive network vanish? During repeated invasions across centuries, many centers of learning became targets. Why? Because to conquer a civilization permanently, you must first destroy its intellectual backbone. One of the darkest chapters in India's intellectual history came in the 12th century, when the barbaric Bakhtiyar Khilji's forces attacked the ancient Nalanda University. The destruction was catastrophic. Vast libraries containing priceless manuscripts, scientific works, philosophy, medicine, mathematics, and centuries of accumulated knowledge was set ablaze. Historical accounts describe fires so massive that it burned for months. This was not just the destruction of buildings, it was the annihilation of knowledge itself. Scholars and teachers were killed, students were forced to flee, and countless valuable manuscripts vanished forever. Bakhtiyar Khilji's actions are remembered as an act of extraordinary cruelty and barbarism against learning, culture, and civilization. And perhaps the cruelest irony of all, the very region where Bakhtiyar Khilji unleashed one of history's most barbaric attacks is, till today, known as Bakhtiyarpur. The university turned to ashes, but the invader got a town named after him. And this is the biggest tragedy of our nation even now. But the final blow came during British colonial rule. By the early 19th century, the British realized they couldn't rule a massive country like India purely by military force. Then came Thomas Babington Macaulay, who introduced an English-based education system designed primarily to create administrative workers for the British Empire. His famous statement revealed the goal clearly. We must at present do our best to form a class who may be interpreters between us and the millions whom we govern. A class of persons Indian in blood and color, but English in taste, in opinions, in morals, and in intellect. Macaulay's goal wasn't to educate India, it was to create a massive workforce of clerks and administrators to serve the British Empire. So, how did they execute this? Through three brutal steps. Starving the finances. The British government withdrew the traditional tax-free lands and community grants that funded village schools, forcing thousands of local gurukuls to shut down due to poverty. Outlawing the system. Traditional schools were systematically delegitimized. If a school didn't teach the British curriculum in English, it was denied recognition. The employment trap. They made English medium colonial education mandatory for any government job. If you wanted to feed your family, you had to abandon your ancestral way of learning. Within just a few decades, a decentralized system that fostered innovation was replaced by an assembly line designed to produce obedience. Education became more focused on clerical work, rote memorization, and obedience to colonial structures. Many Indians began seeing their own traditions as inferior, and over time, a civilization that once exported knowledge to the world started forgetting its own intellectual heritage. The tragedy isn't just that the ancient system was destroyed. The tragedy is that even today, decades after independence, we are still largely sitting in Macaulay's classroom. The focus on rote memorization over critical thinking, the obsession with grades over deep understanding, and the rigid divide between arts and sciences. These are all hangovers of a system designed to manufacture factory workers and clerks, not free thinkers or innovators. But despite centuries of destruction, not everything disappeared. Ancient texts survived in temples, monasteries, libraries, and family traditions. Knowledge of yoga, Ayurveda, Sanskrit, astronomy, philosophy, and mathematics continued through dedicated scholars and communities. Today, interest in ancient Indian knowledge is rising again across the world. Researchers are studying Vedic mathematics, ancient metallurgy, yoga science, Sanskrit linguistics, and traditional medicine. The story of India's education system is not just about destruction, it is also about survival and revival. Today, Gurukuls are once again nurturing a truly holistic form of education. Alongside academics, students are trained in arts, music, martial arts, philosophy, sports, discipline, and values. It is an education system that goes far beyond textbooks and rote memorization, focused on creating balanced, capable, and culturally rooted individuals. The real question is not only who destroyed the ancient education system, but also why did a civilization with such immense knowledge stop valuing its own roots? History is not just about the past, it shapes identity, confidence, and the future of a nation. Perhaps rebuilding begins when people rediscover what was once lost. If this story surprised you, share this video with someone who loves Indian history. Because sometimes the greatest treasures are not hidden underground, they are hidden in history itself. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share this video to keep the history alive. See you in the next one. Namaskar.